Underrated games, a topic done to death and yet still relevant. But why? Well, it's obvious. There are a lot of small games that can be called underrated. So this time I took a look at what you considered underrated and picked 25 games that I think deserve more attention. So let's not waste any time and get straight into it. To start off, we all know that Forsaken is really popular, so obviously it would inspire other people to try making games in the same genre. Well, this game is called Corrupted Crossroads. I had a lot of fun with this one, as instead of picking characters, you buy different abilities, swords and styles for your survivor or killer. While the footage you see here is when I first tried out the game, I have joined back to play it some more. What made this game really fun for me were the abilities. Really long cooldown, but depending on how you use them, they can either not help at all or end up being lifesavers. It sucks that the player count of this game doesn't give it justice, so I really encourage you to go try this one out. But I suppose if we're going to mention Corrupted Crossroads, might as well mention Robloxia Until Dawn. At the start of the game, pick one of several survivors and do it quickly, as there can only be one of each. My favorite one has to be Brick Battler. The idea is pretty similar, with a huge map and you move quite quickly around it. Use movement and abilities to evade the killer until time runs out for you to escape. You can be revived once, simple at its core, but with the design, music and some neat tricks you can discover on some maps, I found it to be good enough to make the list. And that, and also the fact I happened to stumble upon a fan in this game randomly. It's always great meeting you guys, as it makes my day. But for the next game, let's kick out the depressing art style as I welcome you to Super Scuffle, a game centered on running around a beautifully made map where you find new weapons and scuffle with other players. The art style of this game is amazing, and I found myself just enjoying the map whilst looking for people to scuffle with. While the gameplay is nothing mind-bending, the game is so unique I had to include it here. The different weapons don't really change the playstyle much, but I've had a really fun boxing match against one of my friends while trying out the game. Thinking about it, actually, this game is close to the Battlegrounds genre, which actually reminds me of another game called Unusual Force. This was the first ever Battlegrounds game that I've unironically enjoyed. Even though I sucked at the game a lot when starting out, I've had a bunch of fun even if I was dying constantly. Something new this game introduced are regular intermissions, giving you a bit of time to take a break between fighting to either grab some water, stretch, or chat around with other players. Which is how I found this person called Jaga, who's helped me out getting used to the game. Don't get me wrong, I'd still get destroyed, but it felt like I had what was needed to be good. I'd always have my opponents low or even win against someone with a level much higher than mine. In a weird way, this game felt both like a Battlegrounds and hangout game. While people didn't chat often, the ones that did were really nice, and I found myself joining back a couple of times to fight whilst hanging out. Another similar game that leans more towards the Roblox culture would be Crossroads, a chaotic battlegrounds game where you can be one of multiple stereotypes, all well-known characters. Everyone comes with a different kit to fight with, but at the end of the day, this game is nothing more but silly fun. Just go around and attack literally anyone while playing as a noob, builderman, a zombie, or any other character. You can unlock them really easily as you play, so for the beginning you can just try out new fighters every time to see what suits you. Oh, and also there is a Guts and Black Powder character in there. I thought I'd mention that. To keep up with the goofiness, this is a good time to also mention Obby Definitive Edition. I'm not sure why it's called that, as I haven't found any Obbies while playing it, but I can only describe this game as a fever dream. It's weird, wacky, and just an interesting place to explore. I will mention, however, this game wouldn't have made the list if it weren't for the snowball 1v1 mechanic, as I found a player called Finn who I've had a few fights with and won them all. Story theme. But a goofy game that has also made me wanna play it more would be Loft Tower 2, a movement-based game where you need to explore different worlds in order to find burgers. These burgers then give you access to more worlds to explore. The movement in this game feels really good and you can pull off some crazy moves with the kit you're given. This game also isn't taking itself seriously. It's full of memes and jokes, and it's the type of low-quality game that's made with a lot of care, and it's a lot of silly fun, which makes me want to play it more. And if silly fun is what you're after, the Flappy Man is a great game you might want to try. It's an incredibly chaotic game, which is based on Team Fortress 2 with 9 different classes. The game fully revolves around, well, Flappy Man. In this game, you get knocked out after receiving a huge amount of damage. In some cases, it can result in some very funny kills too. This game is not to be taken seriously, as if you try to, you'll immediately give yourself a headache. The map being destructible, combined with the bodies flying when you get knocked down, and the overstimulating amounts of visual effects you see on your screen, will give anyone trying to make sense of this game sensory overload. Another game inspired from Team Fortress 2, but this time from its PvE side instead, is called Defend the Train. Pick one of 3 roles. 2 damage roles, which specialize in either doing damage to humans or vehicles, or a healer to keep the others alive. Before a wave starts, you'll see what enemies spawn and what type will best deal with them by looking at the background. Enemies can either attack the train or the players. Destroy enemies to earn XP to level up your guns and train. It's not very complex, but it's clear with all the levels and enemies that there is a lot of care put into this game, which is a real shame considering its very low player count. But to be fair, it's sadly expected. There was nothing really making me want to come back a second time, which sucks, as this game does have potential. But I suppose this is why I'm making this video in the first place, to show you the potential of some unpopular games you may have never heard of and possibly try them out. Next up, let's look at a fun co-op game you can try out. It is called Ghostly Manor. Basically, run around the mansion, clearing out any ghosts you find. There are multiple ghost types with different abilities to watch out for. This game has both a story mode for single player and tower mode where you can play with other people to conquer a really tall mansion where on the rooftop there is a boss. I managed to get up there twice, and don't worry, as I've totally won both of the times. And for one last co-op game, this one's called Outlaws of Robloxia. It's a game where you and the rest of the server need to fight bosses. In the lobby, you vote for which outlaw you want to face, each having different levels of difficulty. There are plenty of swords and items you can buy to aid you in fights. This game can get pretty difficult with some of the fights. Sadly, however, it might not get updated as much, as the creator of this game is also the creator behind Die of Death, which also happened to blow up while leaving this game in the dust, meaning its likeliness to update is not high. However, the game's still really good and I recommend you trying it. To switch things up a bit, let's take a look over a game that's gotten a major update recently, and yet it's debatably around underrated territory. I'm talking about In Plain Sight 2. This game has seen its fair share of popularity years ago, but it hasn't lasted for long. In this game, you are one of 2 teams, those being robbers and cameras. As robbers, you steal everything you see without getting caught by the cameras, which have stationary points around the map, and need to catch all the thieves in order to win. The plot twist is that the map is full of NPCs to confuse the cameras. There are lots of robbers and cameras to choose from, each with different abilities, and I have gotten addicted to this game a fair amount. Given the style of the game and the quality, it's surprising that the player count doesn't even reach 500 most of the time. I can't figure out what's stopping this game from being more popular. So, if you have any theories, comment about it. I'm curious to hear what you think. But let's be real for a second. This video is already taking long enough, and we got quite a few more games. So how about we speed through some of these? Ready? Tornado Alley Ultimate. Natural disaster survival if it was all about tornadoes. It can get pretty chaotic and the UI is nice. Can get boring somewhat quickly though. AI War Red vs Blue. A really simple co-op PvE game where you can pick different squads of AI to fight, well, other AI. It's the type of game 10-year-old me would would play, as you don't need a lot of brain power to just have fun with it. State of Anarchy. Inspired by names such as these, it's a game that, in my personal experience, you spawn somewhere random on the map, loot up with a pretty complex inventory system, run around the map for a while to look for a fight, and 9 times out of 10 get shot and die instantly. I may just suck though. Stars Align engine demo, parkour and find stars. This game's decoration and art style is amazing, and playing it was super cool. The only reason I'm speeding through it is cause, let's be honest, you've probably heard of it already. Hours. A roguelike centered around you stopping time. I'll be honest, I don't like this game very much. It's not on my style, but I felt like if I were to not mention it, I'd get yelled at in the comments. You likely know about this one too, which is why we're already moving on to Trepidation, a game close to the style of Dead by Daylight. It can be pretty fun if you put in the time to get decent at it, but I haven't, so I just suck. It might be a bit overwhelming at the start, but overall it's not a bad game. Helmet, low breaching type game where your camera is on the helmet. It has a really clean UI and well made missions. There aren't many, however. I really enjoyed playing this one, even though it's a pretty short campaign. Don't want to spoil you too much, however, so finally let's talk about Neon Nights. This game surprised me with its visuals, as it doesn't look anything like Roblox. On the gameplay side, I'd say it's a combination of Minecraft dungeons and dungeon quest. Run around the room and shoot bad guys. And now we are left with only 5 games. Before that, I want to mention I've gotten over 80 games suggested, which is insane. I haven't managed to play through them all yet, but even so, feel free to leave your favorite underrated game in the comments, and it might make the list next time. But now, let's get to the final games. Pizza Game Beta might be a name you've heard of before. If not, it's a Doom-inspired roguelike. Defeat enemies on randomly generated maps to get souls. Using these souls, you can either spend them on upgrades or keeping them, as they act as extra lives. You can find a lot of different weapons scattered around maps, each with their own pros and cons. While I wasn't the best at this game, I still had quite a bit of fun. Every level there are new enemies introduced, bumping up the difficulty, and every few stages you will face a boss. Overall, a pretty solid game. Next up, you really should check out Pandora Story, a game inspired by Undertale and Deltarune. It's a pretty short demo, lasting less than an hour, but I love the quality put into it. The visuals are really nice and the music is original as well, showing how it has a lot of care put into it. I won't spoil you as it's short enough for you to check it out yourself, but I really recommend trying it out and supporting the dev of this game, as we need more story games like these, and this passion project deserves more eyes on it. And after that, I got a game that managed to get this video delayed quite a bit, as I got addicted to it. It's called Cordar. When I recorded the footage for this game, it was very much underrated, but now it's starting to pick up in popularity again, so luckily it might not keep this title for much longer. This is a team-based World War II game where you can pick between multiple classes and build all sorts of structures. There are lots of game modes and maps to choose from, and every character has these goofy faces on them. There's also digging alongside every building being destructible. After you get enough points, you can also do a really strong ability for lots of kills if done right. For our second last game, I decided a game by the name of Derelict deserved a mention. It's a game heavily inspired by Dark Souls. The tutorial is really nice to introduce you to the crafting and combat, but I wanna say that I've never played the Dark Souls game before, so it's no surprise that I've died countless times when fighting the tutorial boss. I don't even want to know what the rest of the entire map has to offer. To say that, the game has a lot in store, even if it's just an alpha. I've surprisingly had a bunch of fun dying over and over, as learning the patterns of bosses and defeating them feels so rewarding. But after all these chaotic games filled with action, I think that the last game should be more relaxing, so that's why I present Skyan. In Skyan, to put it simply, you're just a bird. nothing more. You got two modes, a free roam and a survival mode. If you want to just fly wherever you want, play free roam. If you want to try to live just like a bird, play survival. It's the perfect game to just throw a few hours at whenever you feel stressed, overwhelmed, or just want to relax. It's also a great game to chat with your friends in. So if you ever needed a game to simply relax and enjoy the moment, this is the one. And with that, this marks the 25 games I've picked for the video. If you want the link to any games I have mentioned, it's in the description. But they should all be searchable on Roblox. And so, lastly, my name is Terma, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye bye!